The Awakening. In the lush, verdant world of Elysia, peace had reigned for millennia. The Elysians, a race of beings with an innate connection to the natural world, had built a civilization in harmony with their environment. Their cities, nestled within ancient forests and atop crystal-clear lakes, were marvels of organic architecture that seemed to grow from the very earth itself. Aria, a young Elysian scholar, spent her days exploring the hidden corners of her world, driven by an insatiable curiosity. On this fateful day, she ventured deep into the Whispering Caverns, a network of caves said to hold secrets from the dawn of time. As she navigated the winding passages, her bioluminescent skin casting a soft glow on the cave walls, she stumbled upon something extraordinary. There, half buried in the cave floor, lay an artifact unlike anything she had ever seen. It was a perfect sphere, smooth as glass, with intricate patterns swirling beneath its surface. As Aria's fingers brushed against it, the sphere pulsed with an otherworldly light. Excitement coursed through her veins, but it was tinged with a sense of foreboding. Unbeknownst to Aria, her discovery had set in motion events that would forever change the fate of Elysia. As the sphere's light intensified, it sent out a signal that traversed the cosmos, awakening a dormant threat that had lain hidden for eons. Days passed, and Aria shared her find with a council of elders. The wisest minds on Elysia gathered to study the artifact, marveling at its complexity and debating its origin. But their peaceful contemplation was shattered when the skies above Elysia's capital city, Lumina, darkened with the arrival of massive ships. The aliens, called the Void Harbingers by the terrified Elysians, descended upon their world with ruthless efficiency. Their bodies were composed of shifting shadows, their eyes glowing with an eerie purple light. They moved with unnatural speed and precision, their weapons capable of draining the very life force from anything they touched. Panic spread through Lumina as the first wave of attacks began. The Elysians, a people who had known only peace, found themselves woefully unprepared for the onslaught. Their attempts at communication were met with silence, their pleas for mercy ignored. Aria watched in horror as the city she loved crumbled around her. The beautiful living buildings withered and died under the Harbinger's assault. In the chaos, she clutched the sphere tightly, somehow knowing it was the key to understanding this catastrophe. As the attacks spread to other Elysian cities, a pattern emerged. The Harbingers seemed to be searching for something, methodically tearing through every structure and scanning every Elysian they encountered. Aria realized with a sinking heart that they were looking for the artifact she had discovered. The Council of Elders convened an emergency session, desperately seeking a way to repel the invaders. They turned to their most advanced technology, devices that could manipulate the natural energies of their world. But even these proved ineffective against the Harbinger's superior weaponry. In the midst of the destruction, some Elysians began to manifest strange new abilities. Zephyr, a young warrior, discovered he could control the winds, using them to deflect the Harbinger's energy weapons. Felia, a healer, found she could accelerate the natural regeneration of living things, helping to save those injured in the attacks. These newfound powers gave the Elysians a glimmer of hope, but it wasn't enough to turn the tide. City after city fell, the once beautiful landscapes transformed into desolate wastelands. The Harbinger's ships hovered over the ruins, their presence a constant reminder of the Elysians' vulnerability. Aria, driven by guilt and determination, delved deeper into the mysteries of the artifact. She noticed that the patterns within the sphere seemed to shift in response to the Harbinger's movements. Working tirelessly, she began to decipher the complex symbols, realizing they were a form of ancient language. As the first part of this tragic tale drew to a close, Aria made a startling discovery. The sphere wasn't just a beacon that had attracted the Harbingers. It was a key to unlocking something far more powerful, something that had been hidden within the Elysians themselves for countless generations. With this knowledge came a terrible choice. To unlock this power could mean salvation for her people, but it could also bring about even greater destruction. As the shadows of the Harbinger's ships loomed ever larger, Aria knew that the fate of Elysia now rested in her hands. The once peaceful world of Elysia had been forever changed. Its people, faced with an enemy beyond their comprehension, would have to dig deep within themselves to find the strength to survive. The awakening had begun, and with it, a battle not just for their world, but for the very essence of what it meant to be Elysian, the resistance. As the dust settled on the ruins of Elysia's great cities, the survivors began to gather in the shadows. Among the fallen towers and withered gardens, a resistance was born. Aria, still clutching the mysterious sphere, found herself at the heart of this burgeoning movement. The resistance groups formed organically, drawn together by a shared will to survive and a burning desire to reclaim their world. They make their bases in the deepest parts of the ancient forests, in mountain caves, and in the sprawling root systems of giant trees that had thus far escaped the Harbinger's notice. Zephyr, the wind wielder, emerged as a natural leader. His ability to manipulate air currents proved invaluable for communications and reconnaissance. He established a network of lookouts and messengers, using the winds to carry whispered messages across vast distances, always just beyond the Harbinger's ability to detect. Felia's healing powers became the backbone of the Resistance's survival. She not only tended to the wounded, but also discovered she could rejuvenate plants and small animals affected by the Harbinger's life-draining weapons. This ability to restore life to seemingly dead areas became a symbol of hope for the beleaguered Elysians. As more Elysians manifested unique abilities, a pattern began to emerge. Each power seemed to be connected to some aspect of their world: earth, air, water, fire, and the very essence of life itself. Aria theorized that these abilities had always been latent within their species, awakened now by the extreme stress of invasion and their proximity to the artifact. The Resistance developed unconventional tactics to combat the technologically superior Harbingers. They used their connection to the natural world to set traps, creating sinkholes that swallowed enemy patrols whole or summoning sudden storms to disable the invaders' energy weapons. Every small victory, every Harbinger ship brought down, fueled their determination. But the cost was high. For every successful operation, the Harbingers retaliated tenfold. Entire forests were reduced to ash, lakes were drained to desert basins, and countless Elysians lost their lives. The Resistance fighters learned to carry the weight of these sacrifices, their resolve hardening with each loss. Aria spent her days and nights studying the artifact, pushing herself to the brink of exhaustion. The sphere's patterns had become more active, responding to the growing powers of the Elysians. She began to see connections between the ancient symbols and the fundamental forces of their world. In a breakthrough moment, Aria deciphered a crucial part of the sphere's message. The Harbingers weren't just invaders, they were seekers, driven by an ancient purpose. The artifact was more than a beacon, it was a key to unlocking the very foundations of reality. This revelation came at a critical moment. The Resistance had suffered a devastating blow, losing one of their primary bases to a surprise Harbinger attack. As the survivors regrouped, tensions ran high. Some wanted to use their growing powers to launch an all-out assault on the Harbinger's main ship. Others argued for finding a way to negotiate, hoping that understanding the invaders' purpose might lead to peace. In the midst of this heated debate, an unexpected event changed everything. A lone Harbinger, injured and separated from its group, was captured by a Resistance patrol. Instead of the mindless destroyer they expected, the Elysians found themselves face to face with a sentient being capable of communication. Through a combination of Aria's understanding of the artifact's language and the telepathic abilities of one of the Resistance members, they established a rudimentary form of communication with the Harbinger. What they learned shook them to their core. The Harbingers, it turned out, were not conquerors but refugees. Their own world had been consumed by a cosmic entity known as the Void, a force of uncreation that threatened to unravel the very fabric of the universe. They had been searching for eons for the key to stopping the Void, the very artifact Aria had discovered. This revelation split the Resistance. Some saw it as an opportunity for alliance, a chance to face a greater threat together. Others couldn't forget or forgive the destruction the Harbingers had wrought on their world. The debate raged, with Arya caught in the middle, the weight of the artifact and its implications heavy in her hands. As the second part of their saga drew to a close, the Elysians found themselves at a crossroads. The enemy they had fought so hard against might be their only hope for survival against an even greater threat. Arya, looking at the swirling patterns in the sphere, realized that the true battle was only just beginning. The resistance had given the Elysians purpose and hope in their darkest hours. Now they faced a choice that would determine not just the fate of their world, but potentially that of the entire universe. As the shadows of both Harbinger ships and the encroaching void loomed over Elysia, its people steeled themselves for the greatest challenge they had ever faced. The lines between friend and foe had blurred, and in the face of cosmic annihilation, the Elysians would need to dig deeper than ever before, unlocking the full potential of their newfound abilities and the ancient power hidden within the artifact. The stage was set for a final confrontation that would shake the very foundations of existence. The reckoning. The dawn broke over a changed Elysia, its once pristine landscapes now a patchwork of destruction and resilience. In the heart of the Resistance's hidden stronghold, an uneasy alliance was forming. Elysians and Harbingers, former enemies, now stood side by side, united against the greater threat of the Void. Arya had become the linchpin of this alliance, her understanding of the artifact making her invaluable to both sides. She worked tirelessly alongside Harbinger scientists and Elysian sages, decoding the final secrets of the sphere. With each breakthrough, the true scale of their challenge became clearer and more daunting. The Void, they learned, was not just a force of destruction, but the antithesis of creation itself. It sought to unmake reality, to return the universe to a state of primordial chaos. The artifact was one half of an ancient device capable of sealing the Void away, with the other half hidden somewhere in the cosmos. As preparations for the final battle intensified, the Elysians focused on unlocking the full potential of their newfound abilities. Zephyr learned to create tornadoes with pinpoint precision, while Thalia expanded her healing powers to restore entire ecosystems at once. Others discovered they could shake mountains, command lightning, or even manipulate time in small pockets. The Harbingers, for their part, shared their advanced technology, teaching the Elysians how to create energy shields and weapons capable of harming the Void's manifestations. The fusion of Elysian natural powers and Harbinger tech resulted in innovations beyond what either race could have achieved alone. But even as they prepared, the Void drew nearer. Its approach was heralded by impossible phenomena: rain falling upward, plants growing in reverse, and areas where the laws of physics simply ceased to function. The very fabric of reality was beginning to fray at the edges of their world. The combined forces of Elysians and Harbingers launched a desperate offensive against the encroaching Void. Massive ships, powered by the natural energies of Elysia and guided by Harbinger tech, soared into the upper atmosphere to confront the cosmic threat. The battle that ensued was beyond anything the Elysians could have imagined. The Void manifested as swirling vortexes of unlight, tendrils of nothingness that consumed everything they touched. Elysian warriors rode winds into battle, hurling lightning and fire at the cosmic horrors, while Harbinger ships provided cover and fire with weapons that distorted space itself. In the midst of the chaos, Arya made a startling discovery. The artifact wasn't just a key, it was a map. And the other half of the device needed to seal the Void was hidden in the most unexpected place. Within Elysia itself, deep beneath the whispering caverns where she'd have first found the sphere. A small team, led by Arya and including both Elysians and Harbingers, broke away from the main battle to make a perilous journey to the caves. As they descended into the depths, they encountered pockets of pure void, areas where reality itself had been eaten away. It took all of their combined powers and technology to navigate these impossible spaces. In the heart of the planet, they found what they were looking for: an ancient chamber, untouched for eons, containing the other half of the device. As Aria brought the two pieces together, a surge of energy pulsed through the planet. Every Elysian felt it, a resonance with the very core of their world. With the complete device in hand, Aria realized the final terrible truth. To activate it and seal away the void would require a sacrifice, a being of pure creative potential to act as a counterbalance to the void's destructive nature. The price of saving reality would be steep indeed. As the battle raged above, threatening to tear their world apart, Aria made her choice. She would be the sacrifice, using her deep connection to the artifact and her understanding of its power to seal the void away. Her decision sent shockwaves through both Elysian and Harbinger forces. In a final climactic moment, Aria activated the device. Energy surged through her, connecting her to every living thing on Elysia and beyond. She became a conduit for the combined creative potential of an entire world. The void recoiled, its tendrils of uncreation forced back by waves of pure possibility. The sky above Elysia ripped open, revealing the star-studded expanse of space. Through this cosmic window, Aria, now more energy than physical form, confronted the heart of the void. It was a battle fought not with weapons, but with the fundamental forces of existence, creation against uncreation, possibility against oblivion. In a blinding flash that was seen across galaxies, Aria sealed the void away, using the device to create a barrier that would last for eons. The cost was her physical form, her consciousness scattered like stardust across the cosmos. But her sacrifice ensured the survival of not just Elysia, but countless worlds across the universe. As the light faded and the skies cleared, the survivors, Elysian and Harbinger alike, emerged to witness their changed world. The scars of battle were evident everywhere, but so too were the first signs of renewal. Plants burst from the scorched earth, their growth accelerated by the surge of creative energy. The Harbingers, their long mission finally completed, prepared to depart. But many chose to stay, seeing in Elysia a chance to rebuild and atone for the destruction they had caused in their desperate search for salvation. The Elysians, for their part, welcomed them, recognizing that the future would be best faced together. In the years that followed, Elysia underwent a remarkable transformation. The fusion of Elysian nature-based abilities and Harbinger technology led to a new era of innovation and growth. Cities were rebuilt, not as mere structures, but as living, breathing ecosystems that honored both the natural world and the marvels of advanced science. Zephyr, once a reluctant warrior, became a leader in this new world. He used his mastery of the winds to help establish a global network of floating gardens, providing sustainable food sources for the recovering population. Thelia's healing abilities proved crucial in restoring damaged ecosystems, bringing life back to areas that had been reduced to wastelands by the conflict. The Whispering Caverns, where Aria had first discovered the artifact, became a place of pilgrimage and study. Elysian scholars and Harbinger scientists worked side by side, delving deeper into the mysteries of the universe revealed by their battle against the void. They discovered that the energy released during the sealing had imbued their world with new properties, making Elysia a nexus of creative potential in the cosmos. But Aria was not forgotten. Though her physical form was gone, her essence seemed to linger in every corner of the world she had saved. On quiet nights, some claimed they could hear her voice in the rustling of leaves or feel her presence in the gentle touch of a breeze. She became a symbol of hope and sacrifice, a reminder of the power of unity in the face of overwhelming odds. As Elysia flourished, it took its place among the stars. The combined knowledge of Elysians and Harbingers allowed them to develop sustainable methods of space travel. They reached out to other worlds, sharing their story and the lessons they had learned about the importance of balance between nature and technology, creation and preservation. Yet, even as they celebrated their victory and embraced their new future, the Elysians and the Harbinger allies remained vigilant. They knew that somewhere in the vast expanse of the cosmos, the void still existed, held at bay by Aria's sacrifice. They vowed to honor her memory by continuing to explore, to create, and to protect the delicate balance of existence. The tale of Elysia became legend, spreading across galaxies, a story of a small world that had faced the universe's greatest threat and emerged stronger. It was a testament to the power of diversity, unity, and the unyielding strength of life itself. And so, as new generations of Elysians looked up at the stars, they did so not with fear of the unknown, but with a sense of wonder and possibility. They knew that whatever challenges the future might hold, they would face them together, carrying with them the spirit of Aria and the countless others who had fought to give them this chance. The awakening had led to resistance, which culminated in the reckoning. But for Elysia, this was not an end, but a new beginning, a chance to write the next chapter in a story that would span eternity.